So here's my post-fight readout on UFC 319, Dricus Du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev. What happened, why it happened, and what it means going forward. The winner, Khamzat Chimaev, by unanimous decision, 50-44 across 3 judges to become the UFC middleweight champion. Congratulations. Volume and control, 12 takedowns landed on 17 attempts with a massive top control across the 5 rounds. The second most takedowns in a UFC middleweight fight and tied for third most in a title fight since 2015. The running tally cites 21 minutes, 40 seconds of control in a 25-minute bout. Wow. Damage profile, much of the offense came from positional dominance, crucifix, mount, wrist rights, and short elbows. More smothering than hunt for finish ground and pound. And this is why we got a 10-8 due to domination. Round 1 to 3. Clear Chimaev rounds via immediate entries, mat returns, and right time. DDP briefly threatened a guillotine early but lost position. Round 4, same theme. Takedowns, rides, short strikes, little space for DDP to build offense. Round 5, Du Plessis had his best spurts. Brief reversal, scrambles, some strikes, but not enough to swing the scorecard. Some suggested that DDP may have edged the 5th, but the totals still read 50-44. Why it happened? A tactical diagnosis. First contact, entry time, and closing space. Now, Chimaev shot 8 seconds in and immediately forced DDP into the kind of fights he handles worst. Mat returns, rides, and shoulder pin control instead of chaotic distance-breaking exchanges. Even when DDP initially latched a guillotine, the scramble ended in side control for Boz. That moment foretold the night. DDP could create moments, not minutes. Number 2. Ride mechanics is always greater than raw ground and pound. The signature here wasn't just takedown count. It was control sophistication, wrist rides to crucifix, knee line traps, and cross-face pressure that killed wall walks before they started. That's why strike totals looked light per moment but heavy in aggregate. Short, repeatable shots while maintaining clamps. This is exactly the style that minimizes reversals and maximizes clock bleed. Third, denying DDP's chaos engine. Du Plessis needs messy pockets to shine. Stance switches, bomb hook entries, awkward level changes into body locks. Chimaev removed those layers by preempting exits. Mat returns on the first hip escape, reshoots on the cage line, and never allowing more than a couple of free seconds before reattachment. Result, almost no extended striking sequences for DDP. Number 4. Cardio narrative flips. Pre-fight, the oxygen war was the big variable. Instead, Chimaev's 5-round sustainability held. The pace was not berserker, it was applied conservative pressure. Safe rides, low-risk strikes, no reckless transitions that could spike heart rate or cause slips. He managed energy like a champion, protecting leads with position. The 21-minute 40 seconds control tells the story. The guy spent roughly 86% of the fight time in winning positions. Now, where each man succeeded, failed versus expectations. Khamzat Chimaev exceeded. Wrestle path completely reproducible. Entries worked from the bell and never truly diminished. 12 out of 17 is elite conversion against a strong, stocky champion. Risk management. He didn't chase finish at all costs. The guillotine scare early likely reinforced a disciplined approach. Secure, cook, score. Championship composure. No wild spikes, no self-sabotage. When boos came, he stuck to A game. As for Du Plessis, well, he underperformed due to denial because he couldn't create scramble into volume phases that define his wins. Fence work was neutralized. Every stand-up attempt met by a regrip or ride. And lastly, best minutes came too late in round 5 and without true momentum swing. Here's a concise round-by-round shape. Round 1. Early shot leads to a guillotine scare, leads to side control, 2 crucifix plus short elbows. The tone has been set. Round 2. Repeat. Entries, mat returns, right time, limited risk offense. Done. Round 3. DDP standing moments snuffed. Bors, layering rides, referee stands minimal because offense steady. Round 4. Same pattern, clear control, championship pacing intact. Round 5, DDP's best attempts, brief reversal, some strikes, still outscored by overall control across the fight. Some gave DDP the 5th, but cards read 50-44 overall. Now, numbers that matter and what they mean. Takedowns, 12 of 17. That's 70% plus success versus a champion level defender. That's not just athleticism, that's entry variety. Single to double switches, reshots, strips off cage, plus chain finishing, ankle picks, mat returns. Number 2, control time. 21.40 on top speaks to right proficiency and DDP's inability to build a base with underhooks before wrist control arrived. Scorecards 50-44 across the 3 judges. Judges saw multiple 10-8s from dominance even with limited visible damage. That tracks with modern criteria valuing dominance, duration, impact in grappling phases. The public optics, boos during long rides, but effectiveness is always greater than aesthetics and the belt changes hands accordingly. Now, how this recalibrates both guys. Chimaev, the champion, he validated 25-minute grappling game at 185. The cardio skepticism doesn't vanish, but this performance pushes it down the list of concerns, especially when he chooses low-risk control over high-amperage ground and pound. Blueprint versus pressure punches. If you can shoot before chaos forms and stick rides, you can de-weaponize volume strikers. That applies to several top 5 middles. Finishing questions remain tactical, not technical. He can posture but chose not to risk it once ahead. That's championship decision making, not a flaw. Du Plessis, now he's a contender again. Defense sequencing versus chain wrestlers is the project. He needs earlier frames and hand fighting on entries, wrist pummels before sprawl, not just wall walks after bottom settles. Urgency on the first stand. Too often accepted bottom with hips flat, must prioritize knee elbow escapes, hip heists, the instant control breaks. Still dangerous at 185. Round 5 spurts show he didn't mentally fold. Against non-elite riders, his chaos still breaks people. Did the oxygen war happen? Well, not really. The fight never entered a pace state that taxed Chimaev's gas the way Burns did at 170. He fought like a frontrunner who understands scoreboard pressure, secure positions, accumulate time, avoid scrambles that light the lungs on fire. That's why we got a dominance without crisis, and why the crowd got restless. Chimaev didn't just win, he solved the DDP equation by never letting it load. He erased the range where Du Plessis builds chaotic volume, then stacked right time until the belt changed hands. The pre-fight thesis, that is, enduring chaos versus surviving precision, tilted decisively towards surviving precision. The oxygen storyline never became a live variable because position is greater than pace from second one. If you are building towards forward projections, then against other top middleweights, this exact formula scales, provided the opponent can't deny first contact or create immediate scrambles. Second, for DDP, the anti-ride toolkit needs to lead the next camp. Hand fights on entry, whizzers urgency, cross wrist stands and mat return denial rather than endurance gambles from bottom. Net deduction, UFC 319 was a clinic in risk-controlled dominance. Chimaev established, maintained and managed. That's how belts changed hands even without a finish. Thank you.